Welcome to the second of three videos focusing on how to do your revision. In this episode, we're going to be looking at your long-term plan. Previously, we looked at the best method with which you should use to revise. Now we're going to be looking at how often you should revise and how you plan your time. Obviously, planning is going to be very important so that we can make the best use of the time that we have. So the first thing we need to do is to consider how much time do we have. So if we use each block to indicate a day, there's a week in September, all of the days in September, October, and November. And you can see there that I've highlighted in yellow some of the days that indicate when you've got your mock exams from the 11th of November onwards for 2 weeks. If we then drop in the rest of the days of the year that lead up to May, and it's early May when your GCSE exams actually start, you can see how much time you've got to play with. I've also highlighted there the second set of mock exams that you'll have in March, April. Now, I am not doing this in any way, shape, or form to make you feel stressed, but we have to be honest. There's no point in hiding it. You need to know how much time you have. What I've done here is highlight in red the days that have already gone. So at the time of recording this video, we're towards the end of September, and you can see how quickly that time starts to disappear. So this is the time that you have to work with until you get to your mock exams, your second set of mock exams, and finally the summer exams. The next thing you need to do is to plan how many different topics and subject areas do you need to revise. So what I'm showing you here are the topics that you will have to do for the core subjects for the first set of mock exams in November. Now, bear in mind, this is just for the first set of mock exams. In your second set of mock exams, you might be covering different topics, different papers. Obviously, you'll all have at least one option, if not three options, that you would then need to complete, if you like, the last three columns of this table to say what other topics you would need to revise for those subjects. Remember when we looked at the last video, we said that active recall was the most effective way of doing revision. That's where you get brief notes, whether it be flashcards or posters, test yourself on them often, and then keep coming back to the areas that you struggle with most. Remember we said that testing yourself, you might want to have questions on one side of a flashcard with the answers on the other, but eventually you're going to want to test yourself on more complex past exam paper questions where you're developing the answers from very quick recall things to more expanded essays and longer answer questions. So the first thing you need to know is where you can find these resources. As this video shows you, this looks at the file that I've sent to all of you on Satchel 1, where it tells you what topics are going to be on your mock exams, and it shows you links that will take you to your exam board websites. On these websites, you can find specifications and assessment resources. In these assessment resources, you can look at the question papers for any particular year, whether that be 2023, 2022, and so on. Therefore, it's a great resource to be able to get past exam papers. Each exam board might look slightly different, but as you can see here, they all have access to example sample materials. So let's take, for instance, biology as an example. I know that you need to do cells, organs, and the immune system for the mock that's coming up in November. So you might read the notes that you have on cells and then test yourself on them with quick questions, perhaps on the other side of a flashcard. You might then go through organ systems and then through the immune system. And you might have done really well on cells, so you decide not to revise that again, but there were issues with the organ systems and immune system. So you revise all of those by going through your flashcards again. Eventually, once you've gone through the flashcards, you're going to want to test yourself against something a little bit more developed and complex. That's when you would then decide to do a past exam. What we have here is one subject cycle where you've gone through your notes, you've tested yourself on them, you've gone through some of the notes again as you need to, and then you've tested yourself against an exam paper. Imagine now all of the time that we looked at before up to your first set of mocks, second set of mocks, and your summer exams. If you started to add into here cycles for the different subjects that you need to have, you'll see that you will have enough time between now and the first set of mocks to go through at least one cycle for all of your subjects that you need to study. I certainly would not recommend doing all of one subject in one block like this diagram shows. This is just to indicate how much time you have. It would be better to do biology on a Monday, maybe some maths on a Tuesday, English on a Wednesday, and to mix it up. But over the course of the weeks between now and November, make sure that you have completed a cycle for each subject. Then, obviously, between the first mock and second mocks, you'll have more time to go through each subject again, and then each subject again at least once after the second set of mocks. You still have plenty of time, as you can see there with the spare weeks that you have, to go over things more than the 3 times I've indicated. So if you've got a subject that you want to study for A level, or perhaps you're struggling with more, maybe you would focus on that subject more than you would on any of the others. This goes to show that you have plenty of time to go through numerous cycles on each topic if you start your revision now and plan accordingly. So to summarize, first thing you need to do is be aware of what you need to study. So I've given you the list of what's on your mock exams. Make sure that you've looked carefully at what topics are going to be coming up in November. Secondly, get all the resources that you need, such as exam papers. Again, use the link on the document that I've sent to you so you can go direct to the exam boards and get the exam papers that you need. And finally, plan your time carefully to make sure you've gone through at least each topic for each subject once before your mock exams. Use the timetable that I've given to you on your Satchel 1 homework to help plan that revision in that revision timetable. Obviously, your Satchel 1 dashboard will look different from mine, but you hopefully will have this topic in pink shown to you where it says Exam Board and Mock Exam 1 information. If you click on this, there are a number of different resources that I've sent to you that I've mentioned in this video. The first one is the Assertive Mentoring Revision Grid. So that looks like this, where I've shaded out the weeks that have already gone, and then you can see all the weeks left between now, October half term, and your mock exams. You've got here a list of all the different topics that will be on the mock exams in November, and you could fill this in to say what topics you're going to revise on any particular day. So it's a good way of keeping track of the things that you're going to revise. Going back to here, the other resource that you have is this one here, which is the Year 11 Exam Board information. If we look at this, then you will have the subjects down the left-hand side with the exam board, a link direct to the exam board website, and then information again for Year 11 mock exams telling you how many papers and what's on each paper. So again, just click on the link. That should take you to AQA in this case, where you can find information on the specification and example past paper questions. So we've looked at a video that looks at how to revise, which was active recall. This video, we've covered the plan, the long-term plan, how to use your time effectively. And in our final video, we'll give you some advice, tips and guidance on the best way of going about doing your revision.